Have you ever wondered what you'd do if your husband passed away first, leaving you to navigate a world of tough decisions alone? The truth is, too many widows unknowingly make costly mistakes that can unravel everything they've built. Mistakes that sneak up when grief clouds judgment and well-meaning advice leads you astray. In this video, we'll uncover the 5 critical pitfalls you must avoid to safeguard your future, your finances, and your peace of mind. Stick with me until the end because the 5th mistake is the one most women regret the most, and knowing it could save you from heartbreak you can't undo. Before we begin, I would appreciate it if you like this video. You can help me continue to spread the old age lesson. If you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. If you like this video, please comment number 1. If you don't like it, comment number 0 to let me know, so I can make a better video for you. Now let's get started. Mistake 1. Rushing to sell the house. It's a heartbreaking pattern I've witnessed time and time again, one that shatters me to my core. I understand, darling, truly I do. After your husband passes, stepping through that front door can feel like a dagger twisting in your gut. Every corner of the house whispers his presence. The worn armchair by the window where he'd sit with his coffee, the scuff marks on the floor from his favorite slippers, the kitchen table where he'd unfold the newspaper each morning with that quiet rustle you can still hear in your mind. The closet still holds the faint trace of his cologne, a scent that catches you off guard and sends tears streaming down your face. It's overwhelming. The house feels cavernous without him, too vast, too hollow, yet somehow suffocatingly full of memories you're not ready to confront. In that raw, aching moment, it's natural to want to escape. And then come the voices, well-meaning friends, concerned family, even neighbors, who start nudging you toward a decision. They say things like, "It's too much house for one person now," or "You shouldn't have to deal with the yard and the repairs at your age." Their intentions might be kind, but there's a truth they don't share, a hard-earned lesson I wish someone would shout from the rooftops. Selling your home too soon can cost you far more than you ever imagined, in ways that go beyond dollars and cents. Grief is a fog that clouds everything, especially your ability to see clearly. What feels like a practical choice at the moment, getting rid of the house, shedding the weight of it, often turns out to be a decision steeped in emotion, one you're not equipped to make when your heart is still shattered. And let me tell you, the real estate agents? They're like hawks circling, sharp-eyed, and ready to swoop. They can sense a rushed sale from a mile away. You might think you're negotiating a fair deal, but they see the vulnerability in your eyes and hear the tremor in your voice when you say you just want it done. That desperation has a price tag, and it's steep. I've watched women, strong, capable women, lose tens of thousands of dollars because they signed on the dotted line too soon, too eager to flee the pain. But here's the kicker. Months later, maybe a year down the road, when the sharp edges of grief begin to soften and the world feels a little less unsteady, the regret creeps in. They look back and realize that the house wasn't just walls and a roof, it was the keeper of their story. The echoes of their children's giggles bouncing down the halls, the quiet evenings spent side by side with the man they loved, the life they built brick by brick. And now it's gone, sold off in a fleeting moment of heartbreak, a permanent choice made in a temporary storm. So please, listen to me when I say this. Don't sell your home in that first year. Give yourself the gift of time. Time to breathe, time to sit with your sorrow, time to let your mind clear. You might discover that what you needed wasn't to leave it all behind, but to reclaim it in small ways. Rearrange the living room, paint the bedroom a color that feels like you, and turn his old office into a space that brings you peace. Let the house evolve with you as you heal. I promise you, when you're standing on steadier ground, you'll be grateful you didn't let go too soon. Mistake number 2. Trusting the wrong people with your money. This one sneaks up on you, quiet as a shadow, and by the time you see it for what it is, the damage is often done. When your husband passes, the world shifts beneath your feet in an instant. One day you're part of a team, a partnership, and the next, you're alone, staring at a mountain of decisions you never thought you'd face solo. That's when they start to appear. People you haven't seen in ages, faces from the past, voices you barely recognize. Distant cousins you met once at a family reunion, old high school friends who never bothered to call when life was good, slick financial advisors who somehow got your number the day after the funeral. They come out of nowhere, drawn like moths to a flame, each one with a smile or a sympathetic nod and the same smooth promise, "I just want to help." Some arrive with casseroles and condolences, others with briefcases stuffed with forms and charts you can't decipher through your tears. It's all so overwhelming, and in that haze of grief, their words sound like a lifeline. But here's the hard truth I've learned over the years. Not everyone who offers help has your best interests at heart. Some see a widow, alone, grieving, unsure, and they don't see a person. They see a chance to profit. In that fragile state, when your heart is broken and your mind is spinning, it's dangerously easy to let your guard down. You're exhausted, drowning in paperwork and questions about bank accounts and investments. Things your husband might have handled, things you never had to think about until now. So when someone steps in and says, "Let me take care of it," it's tempting to say yes. Yes, please manage my finances. Yes, I trust you with the savings we poured our lives into. Yes, just make it go away because I can't bear the weight of one more decision. But I'm pleading with you, don't do it. Don't hand over your checkbook or sign a single document you haven't read top to bottom. Don't give anyone, not even family, unchecked power over the legacy you and your husband built together. I've seen it happen too many times. Widows who lose everything, not because they were naive or reckless, but because they trusted the wrong person at the most vulnerable moment of their lives. Bank accounts drained, investments vanished, homes sold out from under them, all while they were still trying to figure out how to get through the day. If someone offers to step in and handle your money, that's fine. Let them make their pitch. But you've got to protect yourself. Get every promise in writing, with no exceptions. Ask to see their credentials. Don't just take their word for it. Call a lawyer, talk to a trusted friend, get a second opinion, and then a third if you need it. Anyone worth trusting, anyone who genuinely cares about you, won't flinch at the scrutiny. They'll encourage it. Your money isn't just numbers on a page. It's your security, your independence, and the foundation you'll rely on in the years ahead. Guard it fiercely, like it's your very lifeblood, because, in so many ways, it is. You've already lost enough. Don't let anyone take this from you too. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 1 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's move forward. Mistake number 3, taking the pension or insurance payout all at once. At first glance, this decision might seem like a godsend, a sudden windfall that promises to ease your burdens. But let me assure you, my dear, it's a snare, a deceptive trap that can unravel your financial stability in ways you might not foresee. Imagine this. Your husband has just passed away, leaving you in a whirlwind of grief, and then, almost like a bittersweet consolation, a substantial check arrives with your name written across it. Perhaps it's $50,000, $100,000, or even $200,000 deposited into your bank account. For a fleeting moment, it feels like a lifeline, a reassurance that maybe, just maybe, you'll be able to manage. You might think, this could be my cushion, my chance to breathe easier. But then, almost as if on cue, the vultures begin to circle. The phone starts ringing incessantly. Financial advisors you've never met promising golden opportunities, distant relatives pitching half-baked business ventures, friends who suddenly find themselves in dire need of a loan. Even family members you love dearly might start eyeing that lump sum, subtly, or not so subtly, hinting at their own needs. And it's not just them. You too might feel the pull. That shiny new car you've been eyeing, the dream vacation you never took, the generous gifts you'd love to shower on your children or grandchildren, it all starts to feel within reach. Before you realize it, that money, which was intended to sustain you for the rest of your days, evaporates. It slips through your fingers like sand, leaving you with nothing but regret. I've witnessed this scenario far too often, my dear, and it breaks my heart every time. What's worse, and what no one bothers to explain, is that once that money is gone, there's no safety net to catch you. That payout wasn't a lottery win or a bonus. It was a carefully calculated sum meant to stand in for the steady income your husband earned over decades, the paychecks that will never come again. Here's a little-known secret. You don't have to take it all in one go. There are options. Monthly disbursements, annuities, structured payments that can provide a reliable, predictable stream of income, giving you the stability to plan and the peace to grieve without desperation driving your choices. When you take the lump sum, it's not just the risk of spending it too quickly that you face. You might inadvertently disqualify yourself from government benefits, see your tax bill balloon, or make impulsive decisions clouded by sorrow that you'd never consider in a clearer state of mind. Don't let that payout, which was meant to be your security blanket, morph into a curse that haunts you. Pause, seek counsel from someone trustworthy, someone with expertise and no ulterior motive, and treat that money with the reverence it deserves. Because once it's gone, my dear, it's gone for good. Mistake number 4 is co-signing loans or giving large gifts out of guilt. This pitfall has shattered the lives of too many widows, and it's especially painful because it so often stems from the purest of intentions, a mother's boundless love, a grandmother's tender generosity. After your husband passes, a peculiar pressure begins to settle over you, subtle at first but growing heavier with time. You start to second-guess yourself. Did I do enough for my children when we had the chance? Do my grandchildren truly feel my love? Will my family still be there for me if I don't prove my worth? Then, almost as if scripted, someone approaches you, perhaps a son or daughter, maybe a grandchild, with a heartfelt plea. Mom, I just need you to co-sign this loan for a house. It's a solid investment, I promise. Grandma, my business is on the verge of success. A little boost from you could make all the difference. Your heart, still aching from loss, urges you to say yes. You want to feel useful, to honor your husband's memory by supporting those you love, and to keep your family close in a time when you feel so alone. But here's the harsh truth they won't tell you, sweetheart. The moment you put your name on that dotted line, that debt becomes yours, not just morally, but legally. If payments falter, if their plans crumble, and oh, how often they do, the creditors won't chase after your son or grandson. They'll come knocking at your door, threatening your credit, your savings, and even the home you've worked so hard to maintain. And those generous gifts? I've seen widows drain their accounts, doling out chunks of their husband's life insurance or pensions in a desperate bid to mend relationships or secure affection. It's a noble instinct, but a dangerous one. Let me share a lesson I learned through bitter experience. Money doesn't buy love, nor does it guarantee loyalty. When the well runs dry, those same people who took so eagerly are rarely the ones offering a hand to lift you in your own time of need. Saying no feels impossible, I know. It can seem cold, even disloyal, like you're abandoning the very family you've spent your life nurturing. But hear me clearly. Protecting yourself isn't selfish, it's survival. You and your husband built that nest egg together, through years of sacrifice and careful planning. Don't let it slip away now, squandered on someone else's dreams or mistakes. Before you sign a single document, before you hand over a single dollar, take a deep breath and ask yourself, if my husband were standing beside me, watching over my shoulder, what would he advise? Picture his voice, his wisdom, his protective instinct. I think we both know he'd urge you to safeguard what you have, to prioritize your future. Hold that thought close, and let it guide you through the guilt and the pleas. You deserve that security, my dear. Don't let anyone convince you otherwise. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's move forward. Mistake number 5. Not updating legal documents and beneficiaries immediately. This final pitfall is deceptively subtle, often overlooked at the moment, yet it has the potential to wreak havoc long after you're gone. It's the sort of task that rarely feels pressing, until it's suddenly far too late. I completely understand how daunting this can feel. After losing your husband, the last thing you want to do is dive into a pile of paperwork. It's not just tedious, it feels impersonal, almost clinical, like you're reducing a lifetime of love and memories to a series of signatures and checkboxes. Grief demands the space-time to process, to mourn, to simply sit with your loss. Not hours spent in a sterile attorney's office or on hold with insurance companies, swapping out names on forms. But here's the unvarnished reality. If you delay, if you let this slide even for a little while, someone else will eventually step in to sort it out, and it almost certainly won't unfold the way you'd hope or expect. Think about it. An outdated will scribbled years ago, a power of attorney form still naming your late spouse, beneficiary designations on life insurance or retirement accounts that haven't been touched since the kids were in diapers. All of these become ticking time bombs the moment you're no longer around to clarify your intentions. When that day comes, it's your children, your grandchildren, and maybe even your closest friends left to pick up the pieces. And too often, those pieces turn into battle lines. I've witnessed it firsthand. Families fractured beyond repair, siblings who once shared holidays and laughter reduced to bitter enemies, refusing to speak, all because mom or dad didn't take an afternoon to update the paperwork. What starts as a simple oversight snowball into a legal and emotional quagmire, one that could have been avoided with a little foresight. And don't assume for a second that the government will stay out of it if your affairs aren't airtight. If your estate plan is vague or your beneficiaries aren't explicitly defined, the state has no qualms about stepping in to dictate who gets what. Not you, not your loved ones, but a faceless bureaucracy following rigid probate rules. Worse still, the fallout can get downright bizarre. Money or property landing in the hands of an ex-spouse you haven't spoken to in decades, a distant cousin you barely remember, or some long-forgotten name tied to an old bank account or insurance policy you never got around to revising. Imagine your hard-earned legacy slipping away to someone you'd never intend to benefit, all because life got busy and the updates didn't happen. It's not just a hassle, it's a nightmare, one that's entirely preventable. So here's what you do. Pick up the phone and call an attorney. Sit down and review every single document that matters. Your will, your trust if you have one, every beneficiary designation tied to life insurance policies, bank accounts, retirement funds, and even that random investment account you opened years ago and forgot about. Scrutinize them line by line and make sure they reflect your current wishes, not some snapshot of your life from 30 years past when circumstances were different. Yes, it might feel cold and mechanical in the moment, sifting through legalese while your heart's still heavy. But trust me when I say this, it's one of the most compassionate gifts you can give to the people you love. You're sparing them confusion, conflict, and heartache down the road. Picture the peace of mind you'll have, drifting off to sleep knowing everything's in order. No loose ends, no ugly surprises, no bitter feuds erupting over what's left behind. Take care of it now, because tomorrow isn't guaranteed, my dear. Don't let procrastination steal the legacy you've worked so hard to build. Well, my dear, we've walked through some tough but vital lessons today. I hope you're feeling a little more prepared to protect yourself and your future. What have you learned so far? I'd love to hear from you. Please drop a comment below this video with one thing you've taken away from this and how you plan to put it into practice in your life. Your story might just inspire someone else. If you like this video, please leave your comment below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more tips to help you stay strong and savvy. Take care of yourself. You're more resilient than you know.